I don't know how to start this video. When talking about a piece of music that is as dear to me as Starry Cat is, I have no idea where to begin. Starry Cat is a mysterious, lo-fi, shoegazy indie rock album released in 2013 by the artist simply titled Starry Cat. They've released only the one album, and they have 3 songs on a split EP with the artist Boy Crush. The Starry Cat album comes in at a very short 18 minutes with only 9 songs. Their Spotify description is completely empty, which definitely adds to the mysterious vibe of this artist. When I first saw this album cover with its crude doodle of a cat, I was pretty intrigued. Even though the cover is rough, hell, cat is even spelled wrong, there is just something undeniably appealing about this image. I can't really put my finger on what it is exactly, but it makes me feel all warm and cozy inside. The cat looks like it was drawn by a child, and pairing that with the soft background color definitely adds to that fuzzy feeling. It was the fall of 2022. I was a freshman in high school, and my music taste was continually growing to include more experimental and odd releases. This was a point of change in my life, as one could imagine, with me starting high school. I was leaving my old friend group and merging into a new one. My brother was moving across the country for college, and I was experiencing the loss of a family member for the first time. And most importantly, I was starting to try to make genuinely good YouTube videos, which they all sucked ass. If you watched my Daughter of Darkness video, I bet you could never guess where this is going. I was playing Elden Ring. This was one of my first playthroughs, if not my first. What I love about Elden Ring is that the game is really fucking long, which means I can listen to so much new music every playthrough. I remember the same night I listened to Starry Cat for the first time, I also listened to The Glow Part 2 and Melancholy for the first time. If that didn't make it obvious enough, I think I was also pretty depressed around the time. The mystery around the Starry Cat album cover and the Spotify artist page really interested me. I saw the album was only 18 minutes long, so I figured, why not, and pressed play. I was met with lo-fi indie rock with some shoegaze elements. The guitars were fuzzed out and playing catchy riffs, while the vocals were buried in the mix, meaning it was challenging to decipher what was being said. This is kind of the vibe for the whole album, and when I originally listened to it, I enjoyed it thoroughly, but I didn't really think too much about it. You also need to remember that I literally listened to The Glow Part 2 right before this, so that definitely kind of helped in me initially underestimating Starry Cat. But what's important is that I still really enjoyed what I heard. But after finishing this album, I went on listening to the next thing and didn't really think about it all too much. A few days later, I had to rake my grandma's yard. She has a decently sized yard with a lot of trees, and I was putting off raking until the last minute, so I had my work cut out for me. I started raking around noon, and I don't think I finished until 5 or 6. I was listening to music the entire time, and halfway through the job, I randomly remembered Starry Cat. While raking, I re-listened to it, and something just clicked, so I listened to it again, and again, and again. I listened to it until I finished raking, and it was safe to say I was fully in love with the album at this point. My life was changing a lot around this time, and the album seemed to speak to the pain that came from that, which is why I initially fell in love with it. After this period, I haven't really listened to the music that much. I mean, I return to it every now and then, but not super often. The main times I come back to it are when there is some big change happening in my life, which brings me to the present. I just recently got out of high school, and I'm going to college in the fall. I recently formed a band, and now we're cycling through new members, trying to find our sound, and, half of my friends are moving away for college at the end of the summer. So this is all why I've come back to Starry Cat. Now, before I get into the music, I want to talk about the person behind it. Sam Ray is a prolific musician who was born on April 25th, 1991 in Baltimore, Maryland. In 2009, he started his musical project, Ricky E. Acid, where most of the music is nostalgic, electronic, ambient. It's pretty good. Also, in 2009, he formed Teen Suicide, which was originally a solo project, but as time passed, he brought in more members. Teen Suicide makes lo-fi indie rock, and it is definitely Sam Ray's most successful project, and they just recently put out a new album. In 2013, Teen Suicide temporarily split up, and during the split, Sam started a side band called Julia Brown, and you'll never be able to guess what kind of music they play. Their brand of lo-fi indie rock, I would say, is a little bit more lo-fi than Teen Suicide, however. In 2013, Sam was working on yet another side project, this time a side project of Julian Brown. He wanted it to be a bit more solo and secretive, but it basically has the same sound as Julia Brown. Finally, on April 2nd, 2013, he released the side project of a side project, Starry Cat. It was meant to be a secret solo project that would only be sold at shows, but when Julia Brown bandmate and Sam's partner at the time, Caroline White, got sick and needed a few surgeries done, Sam released this album to fund her healthcare, which just makes this album so much more sweet and wholesome. I didn't know this piece of information until recently, and it just adds quite a bit to the whole project. Also, something else I didn't know, Caroline White makes music under the name Infinity Crush, which I love Infinity Crush. Her album Sestinas is amazing. Go listen to it. I did not know this. Anyway, I think it's time to dive right into the music. The first song is Possession, quiet, and it begins with a catchy guitar riff and buried, albeit heartfelt sounding vocals, which, as you will soon realize, describes a lot of the songs on the album. The lyrics seem to be describing the act of someone falling in love with someone else after having not fallen in love for a while. It's very sweet and makes me feel all fuzzy inside. This is the perfect opener to the album. Deserve is the second track and has probably my favorite guitar riff on the entire album. It's really catchy and is a lot of fun to play. The lyrics, similar to the first song, are very simple and direct. It is about someone who thinks they don't deserve their partner, and the chorus is an effective but simple chant of saying how he doesn't deserve whoever they're singing about. Next is Thanks, and this is one of the more childish sounding songs on the album. Not that it is badly performed or badly made or anything of the sort, it's the keyboard melody that plays at the beginning. I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds very whimsical. It makes me feel like a kid with a big lollipop listening to this, you know? The lyrics this time are about wanting to be around someone you love all day, every day, and how the narrator feels more insecure when they are apart. Cool is one of the more low-key songs on the album, with another simple yet emotionally potent melody with keyboard backing. Pretty much anything Sam's keyboard touches is made 10 times more whimsical and beautiful. The lyrics are simply comparing his new love to the stars in the sky. It's very sweet and wholesome. The next track is You're the Reason I Believe in Ghosts, and it may be one of the best songs here. The keyboard is the main instrument in this track, and it exudes whimsy. All of the melodies that plays here are breathtaking, and then the chorus is just amazing. The lyrics are a little more melancholic this time around. It's about our narrator having a bad dream where, quote-unquote, everything changed, and this leads to the demoralizing realization that the love he feels will eventually die down, which, yeah, this song hits really hard. If I recommend any song from this album, it's this one. Go check it out. Next is Happiness, which is the most popular song off the album. I think mainly because the intro riff is really good. This song is about trying to be someone new after a breakup, and how the narrator feels all alone without his former partner. Wow, for a song called Happiness, it's really sad. The second half of this track is amazing. I 100% recommend this one. After Happiness is Bye. This track to me is loss personified. It might be the single most downbeat song on the whole album. The lyrics describe our protagonist completely depressed, how they can barely stand and how all they can think about is their former partner. The chord progression during the chorus is just so depressing. Like, this is the picture it's putting in my head. There's a keyboard solo halfway through, and it is just perfect. This song is so beautiful. I Think You're Really Beautiful is the climax of the album. This is the most shoegazy song on the album, and certainly the most noisy. The lyrics are a lot more vague on this one. I honestly don't really know what they mean, but I'm also not the brightest, so if you have any ideas, leave a comment. But at some point the line, "And you said you were crying over him," repeats again and again and again while the song builds up more and more and becomes just complete noise, and it fizzles out in the end. Wow. Bye might be the most depressing song on the album, but this one is the most emotional, if that makes sense. To me, the lyrics are about feeling hopeless and confused after this breakup, or maybe that's cope because I couldn't decipher what they actually mean. The final song is just called Starry Cat. This might be the most wholesome song on the entire album, which it just hits perfectly coming after the last song. It kind of sounds like an end credits to the album in a way. The whole track is just beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it. The lyrics are telling about the hole in the narrator's heart left by their partner leaving, but the more hopeful sound to this track makes me feel like the narrator is slowly getting over his heartbreak, and then the album just ends. This album is incredible. I love every second of it dearly. The lyrics highlight heavy change going on in the narrator's life, and I think it's a safe guess to say that Sam was going through a lot of change at the time, with him switching bands and his partner getting sick and whatnot. The whole idea of change makes this the perfect fall album, as nature is literally decaying wherever you look, kind of like how this album is. It almost has a liminal vibe, which is why I think it's common on YouTube to see songs from this album playing over images that feel like a passing forgotten memory from childhood. It's a good vibe. What's not a good vibe is the Spotify page, which has been overrun by AI, which that sucks a lot. Looking at the Starry Cat Bandcamp description, it doesn't even look like the Spotify account is owned by Sam, so listen to this on Bandcamp and not Spotify. I think that researching this album on YouTube was one of the most fun parts of making this video. There are so many covers and fan-made creations and whatnot. I found this funny little unofficial music video for Thanks. I think the coolest thing I found though was a homemade short film about Starry Cat, which was really wholesome to watch. I really do recommend it. I found this guy posting clips from a really intimate Sam Ray live show. It's definitely worth watching if you enjoy the album. I found a guitar tutorial for Happiness where the tutor is playing the guitar upside down, which I feel that. I'm left-handed and I started learning lefty guitar upside down. I also found a couple of Starry Cat songs that just aren't on Spotify, and they are, as you can guess, great. Starry Cat clearly inspires a lot of people to create, and that's also been the case for me. I think it's just the fact that I and a lot of other people have the resources to make an album like Starry Cat with its really lo-fi sound and production. I will say, this album has definitely pushed me to work more on some of my own personal music, so yay. It's just cool to see that I'm not alone with my thoughts on this album, as it has brought together a small yet loyal community of young fans who seem to relate and connect dearly to the themes of the project, and that's just really sweet. Even though a lot of the lyrics are pretty depressing, if I had to describe the album in one word, I'd say wholesome. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and I think that this is an album that will come to you when you need it. Well, that's the video. I'm aware this one is a bit more personal than my others, but I think my love for the album wouldn't be accurately portrayed if I didn't get a little bit personal, so there. I also think it's kind of funny that my last video was on a 7-hour album also released in 2013, with me also finding it while playing Elden Ring. I just think it's kind of silly that I went from a 7-hour album to an 18-minute one, I don't know. I make music under the name Sedlu on Bandcamp and all major streaming services. I don't fucking know. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what my next video is going to be on. Stay tuned, I guess. I don't know. Bye-bye.